But Bill, just while we're talking about the Leafs, so let's talk about Bernier a little bit more. Don't you think that the reason the Leafs have been able to steal so many games is because they have a number one goalie, arguably since for the first time since Eddie Belfour left the city?
I don't think he's the number one goalie. I think he's hot right now. It'll be a philosophy to see how he does at the end of the season. Bill, you can counteract my statement right now.
Yeah, I think that Bernier is what he was reputed to be, and he's a very, very good goaltender. I think he's the best since Eddie Belfour, and that's in all due respect to the predecessors. But he's the real deal. And if the Leafs can find a defenseman or two between now and 2020, they might win.
Are we surprised at all, Bill, that the Leafs didn't push harder for some more defensive help at the deadline? I mean, they have Reimer sitting there. He's obviously kind of settled into a number two position. Wouldn't that be an attractive trade bait for a stud defenseman?
Well, you look at the defensemen that were traded, and McDonald from the Islanders, Andrew McDonald, they obviously didn't like them. I don't find any criticism with Nonis. I don't think there was much there that he could get. And he did the best he could, but he wanted to get a younger defenseman that he could move up in the system, and they don't give those guys up.
No, that's very true. Do you think Reimer maybe moved at the draft when things are a little bit more open?
I don't know. Not. I hope so, because I like James Reimer, and Bernier will start playing 60 games a year next year.
100%. I agree with that, but I believe that Bernier's destiny is going to be based on how they do in the first round, if he gets them out of the first round. And I think it's an unfair characterization that Bernier is Eddie Belfour. Eddie Belfour is Eddie Belfour. He's probably one of the greatest goalies in the NHL. Right now, Marty Brodeur can become the greatest goalie of all time in the NHL. But I love Bernier, and we'll see how he does.
Well, I'm not saying that Bernier is Eddie Belfour. I'm saying that Bernier is a number one solid goaltender for the first time since the Leafs had Eddie Belfour. I mean,
Carlin, listen to me. That's I think it's premature. I think it's very premature for you to make that statement. He's been hot and cold throughout the season. They are where they are right now with the tandem. Between the two of those goalies, they are where they are. We'll see what he does in the final steps of the season. If Bernier brings them, Belfour, this is what was his legacy in Toronto. He was an Ottawa beater. He beat Ottawa by himself with no help of the rest of his teammates. He single-handedly whipped the Ottawa Senators. Now, the thing that I don't understand is we got out-coached with the Philadelphia Flyers because Primo single-handedly beat the shit of the Leafs. And I don't understand some of those lines, and I'm not going to get into it. The past is the past. If you dwell on the past, your future is not going to last. And sorry to be poetic. Did we find Phyllis Esposito, or is he on a golf course now?
He had to leave.
He had to leave. God bless America. And so this is what I'm saying. This is my prediction. Bernier's legacy, how old is Bernier? 23, 24 years old, anybody?
25.
25 years old.
So he's at the pinnacle of his career. This is my prediction. If Bernier does what I think he's going to do, and I love him, I'm a big fan, and I'm a big fan of Reimer, too. Don't get me wrong. If Bernier does what he does in the playoffs and gets the Leafs out of the first round, then I believe he's a quantified 100% first-string, top-notch goalie. He deserves to be a starter, and he's made his mark in the greatest league known to mankind. That's my modest opinion.